a person with the aptitude of sales, attitude of sales, I think doesn't have any difficulty in getting into any kind of stream. Because if you even looking for an offer in a consulting role, or you're looking offer in the say a very hardcore finance role, even the part of revenue, that is the sales part, will never move out of your profile. It will always be a part of blend of your profile. I think people with that kind of experience should go for MBA. Companies will always come with their own particular skill set, that this is what I am looking for, you may or may not have. And there I think lies the problem, and which I'm also facing to a very strong extent. When we look at domain and skill, I think these two areas are the areas of our prominence when we come to the placement. Companies do ask for domain and then the skill within the domain. Student has to be honed with those kind of skills, prepared. I think sometimes they don't have those kind of skills that we have to give them. They should try to build on those skills, and then the students who have, we try to hone those skills. So for that we have different practices we have followed over a period of time. One practice is our classrooms are a combination of both industry and academy. So any faculty who is teaching in the classroom, if he is teaching for say 30 hours of classroom, 6 hours has to be from the industry. We say 20% of our classes should be done by the industry, and where we should tell students, okay, what we have given in a theory, and this is what the practical side of the theory, how it is being applied by the industry. So that's the first area where we start with, and that's right from the class, trimester 1, class 1, it happens this way. Second area is giving them exposure. So there are two ways of giving exposure. One is immersing in them with the industry, and the second area is giving them an exposure to the people who are the basic leaders, who are the SMEs, I must say, subject matter experts in that area, working on the practical side. What we do, we have these certain sessions, we call them as a coffee clash. Here what we have done, we invite people for a very informal kind of session with the students, and if the student is likely to work on that particular side, they can ask any question from the application side, practical side, fully practice side. So that's another area where we try to build on. Third, we try to give students more and more live projects. Second area is skill. So technology, I think that's the first factor we say. So basic, when we say MBA is born with the Excel, MBA is born with the SPSS, MBA is set to be born with say Python nowadays, Excel is no more over there. Alteryx we talk about, if we have finance students doing in finance MBA, is Alteryx we talk about. Yes, there we have done two different type of models are there. One, we have these are as the part of our curriculum. Python statistics, if you are teaching statistics in the first trimester, it is taught through Python only. If we are teaching market research or research methodology, we focus on SPSS as one of the tool to be used over there. Along with this, the second side is we asked more and more students going for the kind of the programs, workshops. And here we have kind of what is called as understanding with the company like KPMG, company like Grant Thornton. We have them on our campus. They come, they do these workshops for the students, and students have to enroll for that workshop for getting such kind of skill. And they are going through these workshops. These workshops are the combination of both. We say the practical as well as the theoretical side. If I have to start this way, 2018 actually I was being transferred to this department. Over last 5 years, the CTC average is almost double of what it was used to be. Looking at the kind of what is called as sectorial distribution, we are almost like covering all the sectors other than media, but yeah, media also represents a certain percentage in our distribution. We have insurance with this particular sector of BFSI, we are anywhere in between 43% to 48% placements almost every year, and it is always being supported by second to it is called as IT/ITES sector. I have seen that IT and service sector has been anywhere between 15% to 23-24%. Only 1 year that was something like totally a different year, I must say. We reach up to 33%, but yeah, if I look at the average is somewhere around 20%. So these two sectors were prominent, but yeah, consulting was one of the sector which we were not trying to get in the early 3 years, but now from last 2-3 years we are able to see that as also a prominent part of our placements, which is now anywhere between 14 to 28%. Last 2 years it was nearly above 20%. So we are maintaining that sector also, like now a good number of placements going into that sector. Retail, manufacturing. So when I say manufacturing, yeah, FMCG, FMCD both are hiring from us. But yes, if you look at the average percentage of what we are placing with them, will be anywhere between 7 to 11%. So overall scenario seems to be far better than what it used to be when I started with this. 11.5, nearly what the average we are maintaining. And looking at the batch size we have, I think it's fairly well we are able to manage that show. So if you look at our results, we generally reach 97, 98%, 100% also we have made in the last 2-3 years. Our practice is this way. We generally speak to students on 1:1 day. So we say a career counseling sort of session, or we say a ready practice of meeting student on one-on-one basis. We have a certain analytic model where we understand what is the pattern of the students applying for the company, appearing for the company, how many attempts he or she has made, and how he or she is performing on the placements. Accordingly, we talk to them. We try to get their feedbacks from them also and from the company also. On sometime if it is required, we do that also, and we try to guide them accordingly. That keeps on happening during even the placements. So that means we give this such kind of training from, so for example, we say the general trainings are called as GDPI trainings or aptitude preparation training, certain skill set trainings. We give them beforehand also and during the placements also. So if a student says, okay, I'm lacking this particular point, during the interview I felt I was not clear on these particular areas. So we recommend them to the faculty, we recommend them to our own further trainers, or we do ourselves. That means the senior students, or we ask somebody from SME to come and teach him or her. But preparing during the sessions also, and that's I think one of the wonderful way we try to build on the regular basis to get that kind of outcomes, that we should be able to place the maximum possible. At a very initial stage, I have found almost 80% students look for a guidance. We say career counseling, which as I said is a regular feature of ours. They want to understand, okay, if this is my resume or a CV, what should be there on that CV that any recruiter should look at me. And there I say there are 4 rows on every CV, and how you have to build on those rows. One row he has already there with marks, 10, 12th graduation, he's already there with, and of course PG now he's doing, so you have to work on the fourth row of that first row. Other 3 are the kind of certifications, the kind of experience. And the last, how he engage himself. For example, does he a part of a corporate competition, or does he is a part of any club conduits he regularly work with, and he's preparing himself from the other skill sets also, or he joins workshops, or he's doing some other kind of activity where he feel. So I think out of these 4 different brackets, 2 to 3 brackets are always done by the college. They look for our support. In 1 or 2 areas they do it at their own also, but yeah, it's always I think a mix of both. Panic happens. I think people who get into this panic mode are the people who are less prepared, who hadn't been, I must say, genuine enough right from the beginning to prepare themselves enough to meet the market, what is called as change or any kind of volatility happening in the market. That's quite possible. 2 are the people who have aspired a lot without making enough efforts. I think that lies in a particular, but yes, students come with that kind of panic state sometimes. We try to build on them. That's what I said, career counseling means one-to-one. We look through their CVs, we give them the advice, we give them the actual scenario. I think beforehand we give them the picture of which company can come, why it can come, what kind of a role can be offered, what may not be offered, which is offered in past, may not come this year, and how he or she has to prepare enough within that short term requirement to meet that. This keeps on happening. So first year generally they're not that serious about the placements. It's only after the internship they start preparing. But I think over last 3-4 years we have changed this scenario, and COVID has made us learn a lot. If a student comes to me, I do ask the questions what you are looking for. I don't try to preach what you should look for. I say what you are looking for, and I just try to ask certain questions. I think that gives them the frame of understanding what they should look for, what they shouldn't look for. So I think you are aware about one thing. We are offering 4 major programs, and under these 4 programs, we have approximate 10 specializations. 2 are sectorial specific. We say insurance and retail, and other 8 comes from the DM and IB program, where we are offering marketing, finance, operations, HR. Along with it, we are offering IT, digital business, analytics, and BFSI. I think the second step what we are taking, and prominently by the coming year, this 24-26 batch, I think we are introducing, we call this as the AIDS program. On the same line as a PGDM, we are providing a program which will going to focus on artificial intelligence and data science. And I think this is the basic call of the industry. Looking at why and how this DS market or AI will going to rule the industry in the coming time, I think this call has to be taken into consideration, and that's I think we are ready with this program. We are going to launch, and this program will be really, I think, at the point when we are designing this program, we are trying to focus on the people who actually are looking for building career in this particular site. So we know the breakup of the students, and within that breakup, we know what is the profile of the students, how good, bad, what kind of students are available in that particular profile. And accordingly, we start looking at the companies. But yes, making such kind of decisions, we generally take into understanding what could happen in the market in the near future, how this particular job market for this particular placement year will going to behave. For example, we understand also for IT sector may not be prominently hiring this year, or maybe say insurtech or say fintech companies or maybe technology based companies may not be hiring much in this year. So accordingly, we try to subsidize such kind of loss from the other sectors where we prominently can look on, and that's how we start dividing companies, looking at the companies, how many companies from this particular sector should come, from this particular sector should come, to get those people placed. One of the important learning which I had, people with the BFSI and finance background go more into IT, and this is how we have also started planning that way. For this kind of batch size, this is the number of companies we are trying to look at. If I look at our finance and marketing, both are, so if I look at even HR is one of the specialization we offer, and we have a strength of like 42 people, and which is like a good strength if looking at the HR specialization. We are able to meet 75% of them easily at this moment, and still there is 1 month ahead of the schedule. I say if a student who wants to come to BIMTECH should be very clear with one particular thing, and that is we have left no choice but to do hard work to get themselves ready for the market. This is how I see people who have experience. I think the experience in sales, and I think this is not our B school, any B school will say a person with the aptitude of sales, attitude of sales, I think doesn't have any difficulty in getting into any kind of stream. Because if you even looking for an offer in a consulting role, or you're looking offer in the say a very hardcore finance role, even the part of revenue, that is the sales part, will never move out of your profile. It will always be a part of blend of your profile. I think people with that kind of experience should go for MBA. Maybe from a finance background, that can always helpful, because that helps a lot getting into a good profile after completing your MBA, or within the FMCG, FMCD. I think these also require the people with this kind of aptitude. So I say people who are ready to work hard are always welcome. There are issues. Students do have problems with the certain kind of cutoffs. See, at any point in the B school, placements means a minimum cutoff, and companies do have a different kind of scales for that. Say sometimes they say 10, 12 with 70% and graduation with 65, or all together 60%. I think that's the one area. Second, COVID has taken a toll. And I think that what I say is there are many students you get with the gap years. They are without job for 3 years. They are without completing their degree, or post completing their degree. They are without jobs or without doing MBA for 2 to 3, 5 years. I think that's where we are getting this kind of, and I think prominently this might be happening with the other B schools also, because this is something which we are facing. I'm also facing, because companies will always come with their own particular skill set, that this is what I'm looking for, you may or may not have. And there I think lies the problem, and which I'm also facing to a very strong extent. Sometime I give a strong say thought process. I build my thoughts on it, because I think why one should do MBA and when one should do MBA. I think there are 2 points when one should go for MBA. One, if he has a very strong relevant experience and there is a dead end and he wants to go further. And second is, if you look at making your career choice, getting into the business world, completing your graduation degree, you should go for doing it. There are 2 different areas. That means there are 2 different tiers. One is with the WorkX, one without WorkX. He or she should be very much aware about what a fresher should look into the market and what an experience should look into the market. Now, when it comes to what they should be good at, so I think 3 things which I have seen over a period of time works very well with any student who takes admission. A very strong understanding of business acumen. If you have a sense of commercials, a sense of business, and you are in a very strong habit of understanding it. If you don't, start liking it. This is what I say. Second is understand technology, integration with the business. And the third part, you should be a person who should understand numbers, because now and future without numbers, analytics, analyst will not going to be there. I think these 3, I must say, one should try to inculcate once he or she starts thinking that they want to get into a B school. I think these 3 areas they have to build on. And if they are ready material with this kind of, I think any B school during their screening process will 100% will going to take such student.